All right, let's get practicing in QuickBooks Online. Grab the link below so that you can follow along. All right, here we are in the QBO gym, and the QBO gym is really just a set of numerous exercises that help simulate real-life scenarios that you may encounter as a bookkeeper. Every single month, we come out with new exercises for you to practice your skills and complete them, and we break it down into 4 different sections. So today we are going to be working in the August warm-ups section. At the top here is a video that gives you a little synopsis of what's going on in Craig's world this month. He is our fictitious business owner. Further down is an interactive quiz that relates to the video that you just watched. And then further down are all of the exercises in that section. So today we are going to be finishing up the warm-up section by processing bank fee transactions. You will need to be in the same session of the sample company that you used previously in this section. If you have not completed those exercises yet in the warm-up section, go ahead and click on the link above in the right-hand corner of your screen. This will take you to the first exercise to complete, go through the whole section, and then come back to this one. So our scenario today is that after you have input all of the sales and expense transactions, it's time to process bank feeds. This just means comparing what went into and out of the bank and making sure that there is a correct record of it in QBO. So first we are going to focus on the transactions in the checking account. So the first step here is to go to the left nav bar and you're going to scroll over banking and then select banking. So here I am in the sample company. This is the last page that I left off of in the previous video. So we are going to go into the banking section, scroll over banking, and click on banking. First, we are going to look at the bank transactions that QBO thinks that we have found a potential match for. So in the All Transactions field, we're going to click on the down arrow and then select Potential Match. If you got this little pop-up, it's just giving you a little overview of this banking center. Go ahead and click out of it. Under the All Transactions, click on the arrow here and then click on Potential Match. And all of the potential matches are going to show up here. So we're going to now review it. It makes sense to look at each of the matched transactions to ensure that they look correct. You'll notice that in the bank feed, it matches the journal entry that we made for Books by Bessie in the earlier exercise. Since we are seeing this in the bank feed already, Craig must have deposited the refund check without telling us. You double check with him and he confirms that he used his mobile deposit on his phone. So it's there. And he apologizes for not letting you know ahead of time. So go ahead, let's deal with the transactions that have more than one match. There's 3 that are going to be on this list, and that's for Pam, Books by Bessie, and Squeaky Clean Car Wash. So we're going to start with Pam. Here is that journal entry that we were just talking about that we entered in an earlier exercise. And then here you see that there's 2 matches found for Pam sites, 2 matches found for Squeaky Clean, and then there are 2 here for Books by Bessie. So let's start with the one for Pam. Go ahead and click on View over here. And you will see the potential matches that are showing up here. So QBO, when they attempt to match, they're only searching for the amount, and that's why it says $75 here and $75 here. But we see that from the bank detail, this says for Pam Sites, and there's one for Pam Sites and one for Books by Bessie, so we know that the top one is the correct one. So we're going to go ahead and leave that button marked and go ahead and click on the green Match button. And you will see if we scroll down a little bit further, the 2 that were showing up for Books by Bessie, the one has disappeared now because it has been matched, because QBO knows that the one that we did not match in the one for Pam actually goes with Books by Bessie. So that one is taken care of for us, which is really great. So now we're just going to go on to the Squeaky Clean Car Wash transactions. So we'll scroll up here, you see the squeaky clean, go ahead and click on the view button, and we see that there are two different ones for the exact same amount here. Um, with those two, you'll notice that there's two different types, that they are two different types of transactions. One is for the credit check debit and the other one is a cash expense. And then it also has different transaction dates. We are going to select the one that matches the one in the bank feed. So here on my bank feed, your date may be a little bit different depending on when you're watching this video and doing this exercise, because the sample company is always changing updates. So this date here matches this date here, so I know that this is the correct one. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the green match button. But in real life, just know that you would want to investigate what this other transaction is for. But since we know that this one matches the date here, we're going to go ahead and click on the green match button. And now that transaction has been matched. We should only have single matches left on the list, so we can accept them in a batch. To do this, we're going to click on the checkbox at the top of the column to select all the transactions and then click on accept. So if we want to scroll just to make sure, you will see there's only one match found for all of the rest of them. So if I scroll to the top and I click on this checkbox right here, it will select everything. We're going to go ahead and click on the black accept button. And there we go. It has found all of the, we have matched all of the potential match ones. But we're going to go ahead and just click off of that filter, that potential match filter, because we need to see if there are any other unmatched transactions. So we're just going to click on the X right here. And now you will see that there are four more transactions that didn't have a potential match and they are just sitting here. So now we need to go into each of them and see how we need to handle it. So we're going to click on the first A rental transaction. And when we do, you'll notice that a window appears in the details of the bank feed. The bank detail shows that the name of the vendor, but we don't have a matching vendor in our system. So after double checking with Craig, you find out that Ellis Equipment Rentals, which is his usual vendor, didn't have a backhoe available for the dates that Craig needed one. So he went to A1 Rental instead. So we need to add them as a vendor. So to do this, we're going to click into it and do the add new button. So first, let's get into that transaction. It is that first one here. Just click into it and you will see that there is not a vendor listed here. So just click into it and then you can click on the add new button and a new record will appear. Now, because this is an income transaction, QBO is just assuming that we are creating a customer, but we actually need to create a vendor. So to do this, we're going to click on the down arrow and select vendor. So click on the down arrow here, select vendor. And then for the display name, we are going to go ahead and put it as A1 Rental. A1 Rental. There we go. And then we will click save. In real life, if you have any other information when you are creating a customer or vendor record, it's always a good idea to try to fill in as much as possible. You can do anything from name and contact to address, notes, attachments, additional information. There's a lot of things that you can attach to a vendor or customer record. So if you have the ability to do that, you should always try to do it. But for today, we are just going to go ahead and click on the green Save button. Now we have to decide what category to use for the return of Craig's deposit for the backhoe. If the deposit was held for some time, the correct way to record this would be to create an asset account for the funds. They still belong to Craig after all, even though they are being held by another company. So it's important to have that reflect on the balance sheet that way. In this case, however, the deposit is only held for a few days at most while the backhoe is being used for a job. So we are just going to use the same category as the original expense, which is equipment rental. So in the category field, we need to select equipment rental and then click the add button. So in here, just go click into it. If you want to start typing in, equipment rental, there it is. Go ahead and click on that. And then you will go ahead and click on the green add button. All right. So you're going to then go on to the other two transactions. The next one is for the actual rental of the backhoe. You're going to click on the row for the that transaction. In the vendor field, we're going to put A1 rental, and then we're going to select the category as equipment rental. So basically what we just did before. So click into it. And then for the vendor, you're going to go ahead and type, you're going to click into it and you see A1 rental is right there. The category is equipment rental, which is what we wanted. And then go ahead and click on the green add button. And that one has been recorded. And now we have one last one for A1 rental. The category should now properly reflect as the equipment rental. So we're going to go ahead and click add. And as you can see, it is showing as equipment rental. So go ahead and click add. And that transaction has been categorized. Now, this did not appear for me just now, but just know that when you select the same expense category for the same vendor a second time, QBO will ask if you always want to categorize the same vendor in the same way. In the real world, if you know that you will always be using the same category, absolutely yes, click yes. But we don't know for sure, so we would click no, use different categories each time. Okay, so there is just one expense or transaction remaining for you to deal with, and that's with Hicks Hardware. It's not matching any of our existing transactions, but you want to double check to see if any of the expense transactions look like it could be a match. So to do this, we're going to go in the left nav bar and select, scroll over expenses, and then click on expenses again. So here is that one that is not really matching. So we're going to go over to expenses over here, highlight over it, and then click on the second expenses there. Now, to make it a little bit easier for you, it will definitely be easy to, it's easy enough to just sort everything alphabetically so that you can easily find Hicks Hardware. So to do that, you just click on the top of the payee column and click on the small arrow. So you just click on here, and you will see that everything has now been categorized for us. So we're going to scroll down until we get to Hicks Hardware. These transactions are all right here. And we want to look for the one that is very similar to the one that was in the bank feed, which was for $24.38. Sometimes when there is a discrepancy, the bank is always right. So sometimes there are errors when typing in things, and that's okay. It happens. We're all human. So we just need to go back and correct it. So the bank said it was for $24.38. So that is the one we are looking for. We actually look and see that there is one for $24.36. So this must be the one that we want. Click on the View and Edit button. And this transaction, this expense will show up. We're going to go ahead and change in the amount field $24.38. So click into it and just change that from 36 to 38. If you tab over, you will see that that change has been made. So you can go ahead and now click on the green Save and Close button. And that expense has been saved. And so now we want to go back into the banking center. To do this, we're going to scroll over banking and then click on the banking sub category here. So click on that one. And now we are back here in the banking center for the checking account. And then you want to click on the green or the blue match button, because now it has been properly changed. So go ahead and click on the blue match button. And there we go. All of the transactions have now been matched in the checking account. And now that that one is all set, we are just going to go ahead and look at the savings account. And lucky for us, there is only going to be when you click into it here, you're now in the savings account. There is only one transaction here that we need to go ahead and match. And we are going to go ahead and match that one so that it is processed. So go ahead and click on the blue match button. And there you go. That account has now been matched. So your checking and your savings have their bank feed transactions all matched at this point. Credit cards we would do on another day. So for today, you are all finished with processing the bank fee transactions. And if you have any questions about the QBO Gym, just go ahead and click on the link below in the description. Be sure to leave this session of the sample company open, as you will need it for the next exercise in our cardio section, where we focus on invoicing and statements. And I will see you in that next video.